Happy Friday, everyone. Want to come on with an encouraging word for you today. I know many of us are, we're struggling with maybe new challenges that have come upon us on new journeys, new work, new job, new relationships, newness in whatever capacity. I want to give you a word today because a lot of times we find ourselves in new situations and we are struggling with finding our grounding. You may be in a new job, or you may be in a new relationship, romantic relationship, or you may be in a new way of thinking. You may be in a new environment as an entrepreneur, and you're trying to learn the people around you. You're trying to build camaraderie and network with people, but there's a lot of gray areas, right? There's a lot of things that you're not sure of, and it takes a toll on you. You know what I mean? A lot of times we find ourselves in these situations and we begin to lower our expectation of people because we want to fit in, because we don't understand the dynamic in which we're involved in, whether willingly involved in or unwillingly. We may be thrust into a situation where we have to deal with people for whatever reason. I want to give you a reminder today that God is will never forsake you. If you align yourself to the word of God and to the will of God, God will cover you like none other, friend. You must remind God of his promises. You must remind yourself of God's promises. I'm going to read something to you. And it speaks to this in Psalm 119, verse 49 through 50. It says, "Declare, remember your word to your servant, in which you have made me hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, that your promise gives me life." You must at times remind God, I'm still over here. I know you have a multitude of children, and I know you're dealing with a multitude of things on my behalf. But I'm here and I'm struggling with this. I have already put this on the altar and I've given it over to you. I need for you to remember me in this time because I'm feeling a little uneasy. You got to remind God. It also goes as far as Isaiah 43, verse 26. It says, "Put me in remembrance." He's telling God, put me at the forefront of your mind. Remember your humble servant. Remember your son. Remember your daughter. I'm here and I'm doing the work. I'm doing as you have directed me, boldly and courageously. Remember me because I'm not seeing you move in this. I need to see you. I need reassurance that you are moving in this. I'm going to go even a little further with that. Even with Moses, Exodus chapter 32, it says here, Moses is speaking to God and he's telling him to remember his servant to whom he made the promise. This is Musa. This is the leader, the original leader that led the children. This is the first leader that led the children out of Egypt through tremendous adversity. He himself had to remind God to remember him. You, friend, sometimes it just takes a simple conversation with the God that is within you and ask God to remember you, his humble servant. Remember all of the acts that I've done in following the word. Look at my resume, Father and Mother. Cross-reference my resume with the activities of my life in the now. Search my heart and come and cover me and fight for me. Do not let these people get the upper hand upon me. Do not forget me. I am your humble and your righteous servant. I look to do the honorable thing by you at all times. These matter, friend, because a lot of times, friend, we get around people. We have to be around people. It's not that we want to be around them. We don't even go looking for them. We have to be around them. God sends you into these circles. God sends you into the midst of these people as a representation of him, as an ambassador of him, to go and show them how God's children move and to show them how God's children do. And a lot of times we find ourselves under attack by these people because the way that we move and the way that we do is in total contradiction to really how they actually move, how the temperament of their heart moves. And they get angry with you. They become resentful because now they have a real life perspective. They have been told the truth and they have to make a conscientious decision. Do I honor the truth? Do I follow the truth of my heart, or do I continue on? It makes them uncomfortable. A lot of times we find ourselves in relationships with people, jobs, people in networking environments because we are entrepreneurs, people in general in life, friends, that you want to fit into because you've envisioned yourself in this environment. It's been something that you wanted to do and you don't really know what to expect because it's your first time at that particular rodeo. So you lower your level of regard, right? And you allow people to treat you and to do things to you that you normally wouldn't allow somebody to do otherwise, had you had enough experience in this thing. Somebody feel me on this. I know y'all feel me. It might be a new job and you're learning the ways of the job and you got a bunch of older senior people there that are just a little bit, they're not feeling you. And so you're having to lower, your expectation in regards to what you accept and how you respond. You soften it. And you allow things to happen. Things that never should happen. They make it seem like it's all goodwill and good intention. And it's nothing but wickedness and jealousy and resentment and hate. But you're supposed to turn a blind eye to it and act like, okay, that didn't happen. It could be a love interest, somebody that you've embarked upon a new love relationship with, and you're learning this person, and now you don't even know if this person loves you like you love them. It's that awkward thing going on. You know what I mean? Or you're trying to get involved with their family and show them who you are so that you can be embraced by them because you come from a strong family structure and that matters to you. And they're not from that. They don't respect that. They don't honor that for whatever reason. So you've lowered your expectation. You've allowed them in as they are, and they're diminishing the value of all that you have established up to this point. You can't even invite them to Christmas dinner because they're not even cohesive to the way your family unit works. They lower the environment. They don't lift themselves. They lower them. They lower it. This is for you. Remind God of his promises, friend. You're not alone. Sometimes you have to remind God of God's promises, friend, because you need God to show you that all that you have done up to this point is worthy in his eyes. All of the alignments are sacrifices. To align yourself with God is a sacrifice. You sacrifice the choice of doing otherwise for the love of God and for the love of staying in alignment with God. So you can continuously have that relationship of reciprocity. Sometimes you got to just say, you know what? I need you to show up and show out on my behalf because I've done my part. I've done all that I can do in this. And I'm not going to live in fear anymore. Fear of getting left. Fear of getting fired, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being attacked. I'm done with that. I stand in my knowing that I am a child of God. I stand in my knowing that I have done the righteous things at all times. Regardless to how they are perceived by the world, my heart can rest and know that I have stood in alignment and I have sought the truth and I have looked to do the righteous thing at all times. And I stand in the knowing that whatever comes for me is a reflection of my resume and my walk with God. It's a win-win, friend. Now you get to see how God moves. You take your hand off of the steering wheel and you get to see how God moves on your behalf. You get to see in a first-hand perspective whether you really are in alignment or not. Whether this whole thing you've been banking on all along with your relationship with God is really what you banked on it to be. This is where the rubber meet the road, baby. You don't ever have to get beat up and thrown around and disrespected and spit on and disregarded by people just to be involved with them. You pick up your toys and you go to another playground. That's what you can do. And God will show you and lead you to a new playground with new friends. I just wanted to give you that today. That was on my spirit today. It's on my spirit. Got to remind God of his promises, friend. You must. You are not alone. The enemy always wants to make you feel like you're alone because you get in these situations where you feel isolated. You feel like, okay, I can't really express myself to nobody because nobody's going to really understand. So you keep these things to yourself and they make you feel like you're alone. But I'm here to tell you I'm your sister in this life. I will humble myself and offer all of my experiences up to you to let you know that you are not. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie because the devil knows you got power. You have power because if you didn't have power, the devil wouldn't even be thinking about you. He'd be off to sabotage some other righteous soul. Be blessed, stand in your knowing, trust, know. Keep it pushing. Peace and love.